What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Spot Show Podcast, an independent wrestling podcast with a few pit stops along the way. I, of course, am your host, Jim Minton, Dickie Wabash. Joining me this week, we have got the 5'7" gift from heaven, the rizzled veteran. What are you trying to line up with it? Oliver Cain is here.
I said my other fingers are off camera. They're holding my phone.
Yeah, you're trying to do the 5'7".
Yeah, I don't do enough podcasts to like have a thing to set it up. I'm just new iPhone. That's about it.
Oh, hell yeah. One of my favorite things you've said is when you were like, it's not 6'7", it's 5'7", which just shows that you really do have your grasp.
I was doing that before people started doing it on the 10 punch, and I've seen the 10 punch multiple times. In fact, I had that done by me on me by Colby, and it got a huge reaction. But I was doing the 5'7" like 2 months before that. So that's always me. A couple months before it hits big.
That's the one thing I can say about Oliver Cain. You've always got a grasp on the pulse of pop culture. I will give you that one. You've always got a pretty good grasp on what's going on.
Just no one sees it.
No one sees it. No, not at all. And most of the time you're doing it to an audience of one, and that one is yourself.
Well, I will, right before we get going, I am going to take credit for the crocodile kick pads. I had those like 10 years ago now, or so. And then everybody started rocking them. And now and of course I can't go up and be like, hey, I'm the one that came up with that, because like I know where they went, and I'm not going to because I had a gear guy who made it, and he had made gear for other stuff. And so I asked for the crocodile stuff. Then all of a sudden the people that he also made stuff for had crocodile stuff, and it was on television. So I was like, that's a little, and then it just kind of started to trickle. But
yeah. Well, we've already had our first Oliver Cain tangent, and we're not even 3 minutes in.
I don't care.
I love it. I don't care, brother. I love it. I love it. There's going to be a lot of them. But before we get into it, just a reminder, this is, of course, the Spot Show Podcast. Each and every week, my friends and I, we get together and we talk about the wacky world of independent wrestling and professional wrestling and everything in between. If you like what we're doing here, you can, of course, go on over to patreon.com/MadBash Studios. Back us at the $5 tier. You're going to get all of our shows early and ad-free, as well as some exclusive content. Before we get into this, some plug skis and upcoming dates. I got nothing for the rest of the year. I'm completely off the rest of the year. Oliver, do you have any dates?
I have hockey tournaments. That's about
okay.
it.
Well, so there it is.
I don't. That's where I'm going to be. I'm going to be watching my son beat the crap out of kids and score goals at 6 years old against 8U teams. So yeah, they've nicknamed him the Enforcer now. So
the Enforcer.
Yes.
Arn Anderson, brother.
Except he actually looks 6. So, I mean.
He actually looks 6. It doesn't look, I love it. I love it. Yeah, so we got no plug skis for upcoming dates. Plug ski, though, head on over to the MadBash Facebook page. Oliver is one of the first people that has gotten to see it. The MadBash 2025 recap video is now live. This goes public Thursday, so it should be public by now. Go on over there. Check that out. And of course, just want to remind everyone, this episode is, of course, brought to you by Venom Energy and patreon.com/MadBash Studios. But
I'm brought to you by Bye.
And you are brought to us by Bye. This is true. Yeah, you can say that. And I think this is the first time that you've said that on
MadBash.
Any piece of content.
For you guys, I did one. This is like the second podcast I've done in 2 weeks. Like the past 2 Mondays of this, which I did a fun one, which you guys have promoted for me.
Yeah, please. Right now, let's give a quick plug to the Confusion. Yeah.
Yes, that was a fun one. I was at his first independent show ever, which is wild, and we talked about stories and life and so I dropped that there because I don't know if it made, because we, filmed it like we're filming this. So there's stuff that doesn't make make the show. But he was a real nice guy. Real good conversation. So I'm not used to doing these mini podcasts. So, But anytime you want me on, Dickie, you can just. I could be a fill-in guy sometimes because.
Sorry that I don't have the information right in front of me, brother. But Confusion Podcast. Check him out. You can find all the information about that over on Oliver's IG account. He shared a little bit of it. Shout out to the good brother over there. Really solid interview, really solid podcast. Like what he's doing over there. He officially has the MadBash stamp of approval. Would love to work with him. So, okay. Let's now get into the meat and potatoes of this. And this is an episode of the podcast that I have been looking so forward to. This is one that has been brewing for quite a bit of time. It has changed a couple of times of what it was going to be. But I think that we settled on a subject that I don't even need to say think. We're going to cook on this one because we've already had the conversations about it off mic, and I've had to stop our conversations because I'll be like, Oliver, wait, we can't blow our loads right now. We got to save the conversation for the podski.
It's a good thing I have a terrible memory, so we'll be good.
Oh yeah, you have the memory of a goldfish, brother. But yeah, so back before Spot Show went on the hiatus, episode 99, I think it was 98 or 99. Madrox and I did a review of the episode of Nitro where it was right before Bash at the Beach 96. So there was no NWO. We were going to build into that. So Oliver is, of course, a huge fan of this time period. We've had ad nauseum conversations about just so many in-depth conversations about this time period. We've dissected it and all that. So I say, myself. Oh, you're good.
There we go. There we go. The camera's on the other side, so now I don't have to worry about my fat hands being in the way.
So I say to Oliver, when we're back from hiatus, let's you and I watch Bash at the Beach 96 and do a review of it. And you're like, okay, cool. So then somehow it shifted to this episode of WCW Nitro that, not to bury the lead here, but Oliver and I both think might be one of the best episodes of weekly wrestling ever. This is, of course, the July 29th, 1996 episode of WCW Nitro, live from Disney MGM Studios at the time. And Oliver, I'll let you kind of take over here for a minute. Don't give away too much of your thoughts because we're going to do that more towards the end. But what is so appealing to you in a general sense about this episode specifically? What made you say, Dickie, let's do this one instead of Bash at the Beach?
It was probably the best produced television episode of wrestling. And what I mean by that, I mean not the in-ring action itself, but it was groundbreaking. They were trying new things. It was really the first time they started to blur the lines between kayfabe and non-kayfabe. And I think it's one of the best. It's probably one of the best ways they've done it, where it wasn't letting, it wasn't the magician showing all the tricks. They played it as legit, but added a sense of realism. It's kind of what really started WCW on its run, where you didn't know what could happen. You weren't just tuning in for wrestling and, oh, this guy's going to wrestle this guy's going to wrestle this. It was like, I have to watch this. A lot of the younger guys maybe listening to this never got to experience the back channel, watching wrestling.
Yeah.
And this
back and forth.
Previous channel. Oh, what's on? Oh, this match is not good. Commercial back. This was for its time, and I don't think they've done this since. Played it where it was realistic, but not. It still wasn't. They didn't acknowledge, they didn't insult your intelligence at the same time shitting all over the product, where it's like, oh, well, these guys aren't really mad at each other. This isn't a fight. They're he's not doing it like the way they tried to reinvent that wheel later with Vince Russo and all that, where they went, oh, Goldberg wouldn't do the finish, that type of shit. No, it still played it as.
I agree with you completely, 100%. This is, in my opinion, this episode of Nitro is the best and always will be the best example of blurring the line, because it blurred the line in such a way where there still wasn't a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Like, you, granted, we had the benefit of no smartphones. We had the benefit of no majorly accessible dirt sheets. We had the benefit of no Reddit, no Twitter, no nothing to like people to break it down like this. This
56K, man. 56K was the best speed you could get back then.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, the dirt sheets and stuff were still you had to be a fucking nerd to know what the dirt sheets were, and to break it down. But I do believe that this episode that I've ever seen, and I've been watching wrestling the vast majority of my life, this is the best that I have ever seen. Let's blur the line and break kayfabe, not in the sense of like you just said, where it's like, oh, Goldberg wouldn't take the finish. No, we're breaking kayfabe in the sense of these guys are backstage and these guys were just in the ring doing a match. Now they're coming together because they're worried about their friends, you know, and they do a good job of that, like with Sting and Bagwell and stuff like that.
I wouldn't say it was like breaking the fourth wall. It'd be like breaking the 3.5 wall. You know what I mean? 3.5 wall. Cause it was still, everything was still storyline. It wasn't, you know, they let you know just enough where you believed it was real. Like the fact that, you know, not to get ahead of it, but the fact that people called the police and reported it as an assault, and the cops, and that's my theory. When Bischoff leaves commentary, like in the second hour, because he's there for a little bit, and then he goes back and says he has to. My theory is that he had to go back and explain to them that no, this is a TV show, guys. This is a part of it. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe it's, you know, I'll have to look into it. But
I could see it being a thing. That's what I'm saying, is that they broke kayfabe, not in the wink, wink, nudge, nudge type of way. If this would have been done under Vince Russo, it would have been completely different. And I'm not going to use this as an avenue to bury Vince Russo.
Let me say this. They didn't break kayfabe because it was still existent. They bent kayfabe.
That to where, you just summarized.
To where you're still locked in. It got the smart people that think they know everything to be like, wait a minute. You know, what's going on?
You just summarized the last 7 minutes of this podcast perfectly by saying they bent kayfabe. They did not break kayfabe. They bent it. They, you know, like if this would have been Russo, as I was saying, it would have been like, they would have been doing a thing of where it's like, we're poo-pooing this stupid fucking match that we're doing, and we're going to go check on these guys. They were still doing it in the sense of like, look, the Horsemen, Sting, Luger, Macho, they still don't like each other, but it's like, oh, this is really happening. That's why because in a way they were still all in character. So they weren't breaking kayfabe. They were bending kayfabe, which I think is an absolute perfect way to put it. That's bravo, man. That is the most incredible way to put it. But well, I say we get into the actual episode now and break it down more than we already have. But so naturally this begins with the classic WCW intro. Red and yellow Hogan is still in this intro, which I think it's a weird way of like, maybe they're in denial in, you know, a kayfabe sort of sense of like, maybe Hulkster can come back. We don't know. But no, man, that going through the streets, the explosion, I stand by, that might be the best intro in weekly wrestling.
It's got a vibe of the old the HBO intro for the movies, how it would go through the town and then line up. That might be but like,
no, I know exactly what you mean. I wonder if that was a nod.
I'm a big fan of practical effects and miniatures and stuff like that when done right. And That's what I miss about, in movies now, because nothing has weight to it. But like, I'm a big fan. Like, here's one small tangent I'll get off of. There's a Costco has a Costco has a Ninja Turtle pinball machine, and it's the full size, but it's digital. So you can no, fuck you. I don't want a digital pinball machine.
You want the tactic, yeah.
Yeah, I want the Ruth Goldberg stuff in it, or whatever it's called. I think that's what it's called. Like
Rube Goldberg.
Rube Goldberg. I want that stuff.
Ruth.
Yeah. Baby Ruth, baby. No, that's what I want. I want the practical, all that stuff. It looks cooler to me. It means they filmed it. They didn't just punch it into a computer and type the stuff up. There's nothing, I don't know. It's the great intro. And it reminds me of the Nitro video game, which was terrible, but anyway.
Hey, rose-colored glasses, brother.
We didn't know it at the time.
So we cut, like I said, we are, of course, at Disney MGM, which when I think of WCW, there are two things that always come to mind with this period. Them at Disney MGM, and whenever they would do Halloween Havoc and they would have the Slim Jim posts. That's my WCW. Mm-hmm. And it makes me so happy. Excuse me. It makes me so happy to know I have walked right where that ring was. I have been right where that ring was. And I told you this off camera when we talked last week. When I go, because I'll be back for sure. When I go to Hollywood Studios next time, I want to get that exact path where they walked to get to the ring. I want to do my sleuthing and track that down, because I'm sure that I can. It's probably super easy.
Are you going to get one of the sweet Buena Vista polos?
I told you I want one. I want one. But see, they're old school because it's the MGM ones, and it's not MGM anymore. It's just Hollywood Studios.
Hey, but you use my autism, like my ADHD, on how I track down the
we will get to your autism with this episode, dude. You wisdom with the tism on this one. This is why I love talking wrestling with you, man. So we cut to Larry Legend and Tony Schiavone. They're hyping up the show, kind of talking about all of the matches that we're going to be seeing tonight, and that's important. We'll get to that in a minute, why that's important. They then start talking about the New World Order, or as Larry Zbyszko is calling them, the New World Odor.
That never got over with me. I hated that.
I know. That's one thing you were texting me, like, as you were watching. So much. You were like, dude, this fucking New World Odor thing is so bad. We then see footage of WCW Saturday Night where Sting and Lex Luger are leaving. They do a gimmick where it's like, Lex, you have a phone call. Lex Luger leaves. The Outsiders come and attack Sting. Then they dip out. We then cut back to Tony and Larry, and they're talking. And as much as I do want to bury Larry Zbyszko for how he was on this episode, because you will get there, he drops a line that is a core memory for me here. He says, Julius Caesar got his stab in the back. Napoleon found his Waterloo, and these guys will get their D-Day. That's dope as fuck. That's actually
too bad
solid.
That never happened.
They never did get there. Well, technically, I mean, if you want to call the finger poke of doom their D-Day, because that's when shit went south. Yeah. We're getting too far ahead on that one, though. It just, this was, I'm also going to take the time now to tell you, because to tell the people listening, I already told Oliver this. I said that was a core memory. During this episode, and it was around this time, I realized this is where memories begin for me. Meaning that if I think back to my fandom in wrestling, this is where they start, is this episode. I remember this episode, and there are little things that happen throughout the episode that start to fill in my brain of like, oh fuck, you were 6 when this happened, Dickie. 5. I was 5. So it was like just little, because that's about the time you start to develop memories, 4 or 5. So it's just really weird. It was like this weird, like I could see the zeros and ones flying at me, and I was like, whoa. But yeah, it's just a little aside there. Oliver said it at the very beginning of this episode is great, not necessarily for the wrestling. We now get to match number 1, which is old Hacksaw Jim Duggan versus Mike Enos. We start the match. Mike Enos goes for a Pearl Harbor on Duggan. Duggan reverses a whip. Enos stumbles out of the corner into a hip toss from Duggan. And then we get the big over-the-top clothesline. That's a really solid start to this match, man. Because, this is just weekly television. We're not expecting anything. And there's not that these guys are phoning it in, but it's like, man, that was just a really hot start, I thought. It did a really good job of establishing, look, Hacksaw's the baby. Enos is the heel. I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I just really enjoyed the way that it opened. Duggan and Enos then trade some headbutts, and Duggan headbutts Enos. I don't know if you noticed this. He headbutted that motherfucker square in the bridge of the nose. Right in the fucking nose. How he did not get a nosebleed, I have no idea. Because he hit him so goddamn hard.
Yeah, all I got for that match, really, to be honest, is I got Duggan rules.
See, that's why I'm play-by-play, brother. I got notes on these matches.
I got Duggan rules. In my opinion, the match went on way too long.
It did. It did.
What I loved about the finish. Sorry.
Okay, well, let's get to the finish now. Enos comes off with a big splash, misses it. Duggan and Enos slowly get up. Enos delivers a few running axe handles. Duggan fires up, peppers him a little bit. Duggan gets in the corner. Jimmy Jett, who is my favorite referee, by the way. I love it when referees had names. I love it. He pulls the ref, and as he's distracted, Duggan reaches into his tights, pulls out some tape, and tapes his fists and gets the big punch on Enos for the 1, 2, 3.
See, I love the finish. I love the finish because a lot of people forget at Hog Wild in 2 weeks after that show, he's going to be facing DDP in a taped fist match.
No, so didn't they do it? I thought they did it at Bash at the Beach, didn't they?
Did they?
I think so.
Did they do it before? Well, either way,
yeah.
I must have got it wrong about that.
Hang on. Yeah, go on. I'm going to look this up.
Either it was before or after. He's getting the gimmick of the tape fist over.
Yes.
And therefore, he did the match with DDP. I could have swore it was at Hog Wild. I could be wrong. But the thing about it is you watch this match, and it looks like a fight. It looks like two guys fighting. And I miss that about wrestling on TV.
It was at Bash at the Beach.
Oh, so he did it before.
So he's just carrying the gimmick over, which I love.
Yeah. So
yeah, it did feel like a fight. I don't know if
it looked dirty. It looked choppy. It looked like a real struggle out there. I think Hacksaw gave Mike Enos way too much, personally. But it also feels like I only think they had like 6 or so matches the whole night, so they didn't really.
Yeah, not many. Duggan is celebrating. Mean Gene gets in the ring with Hacksaw, and then Hacksaw cuts an amazing promo. You put this because you watched the episode before I did, like a couple of days before I got to it.
That's a James Duggan promo right there, brother. This ain't
Hacksaw. This is James Duggan. You put this promo over to me, and it was so good. Because when Hacksaw's out there doing a promo, he's usually but no, he's just looking right into the camera, and he's talking to Hulkster. He says all this stuff. He's like, Hogan, what have you done? He's like, I know what's in your heart. And why did you turn your back on everything? He said, you've been to my house. I've been to your house. You've held my kids. I've held your kids. My daughter's first words were Hulkster. He then calls Hogan an incredible technical wrestler, which is not true. And then he says,
what is technical wrestling though?
Exactly. Exactly. He says, Hulkster, you're an incredible and technical wrestler, but when I see you, I'm not looking for time. I'm going to kick your butt or whatever he says.
Yeah.
And then he gets out of the ring. And then Mean Gene like feels the need to do this bad apple analogy, which is not great. It's not great.
You could see this was the first time they were trying to get away from the cartoonishness of the 80s.
Yeah.
And it was because everybody expects, Jim Duggan to be, and he sits there and he's talking about, I've been with you. I've done the Make-A-Wish. I've been there with you when you did the Special Olympics, and, the daughter being, it was a great promo that really, it sold it. And the fact he was almost disappointed dad about to beat your ass.
It was it was more
like, I don't want to, I wish I didn't have to do this, but I'm going to have to do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that promo was a hidden gem that I saw because no one talks about that promo. No, I haven't heard anyone say the promo Jim Duggan cut on this it was a great promo. He settles the crowd down and then he starts talking in his normal voice. And it was, couldn't give that promo like enough props because it was a complete 180 from his normal persona, which is selling the seriousness of Hogan turning heel and the Outsiders.
Well, I mean, not to mention too, you got to look at the last episode of Nitro that we watched here on Spot Show, which was at the beginning of July. That's when he's doing the diamond ring gimmick with DDP, and he's being over the top cartoony, talking about, I found this in the toilet. Oh, stuff like that. Like, that's not what we got here.
Dude, is he the king of finding stuff? Like, he found the TV title in the trash.
He's the best. He's the best. All right, Oliver, it's time for match number 2, and business is about to pick up. Shit is about to hit the fan. We, of course, got the 4 horseman combination of Ric Flair, Chris Benoit, and Steve Mongo McMichael versus, did I just say Sting Mongo McMichael?
No, Steve. You said Steve.
Okay, because I was reading Sting. Okay, so it's Mongo, Flair, and Benoit versus Sting, Savage, and Luger.
The match was supposed to happen the week before, but Flair never showed up.
Yep.
Which led to, is he the 4th member? Is he joining it, or did they do something to him? Which is another great thing that they do through this whole beginning storyline of the NWO is who's turning. If Hogan can turn, who else is going to turn?
Exactly. Arn Anderson is not with them because, of course, one of the matches that we're going to be getting later is Arn Anderson versus the Giant for the world title. We're also going to be getting Eddie versus Ray. We're going to be getting the Steiners versus the American Males. And I think there was one more.
No, that's it.
That's it? Okay. Yeah, but I say that because of what we're getting ready to talk about here soon. So let's talk about the match here. Hot start. Everyone just starts brawling. Sting gets in the ring with Flair. They do 10 punches. Flair takes a powder. Everyone is just still fighting like crazy. And then we cut to break. And then we get a cold as ice teaser. And I fucking love the cold as ice teaser. It makes me so fucking sad that WCW is leaving Peacock. Because, I told you this. I said, Oliver, we could so easily just watch this entire time period and podcast about it.
Yeah.
But now we can't because it's all leaving. It's fuck, man. Fuck. They even talk about it in Dark Side of the Ring. The reason Cold as Ice failed is because of we were starting to get more realism with the NWO. And
we don't want to see wrong time.
Yeah, we don't want to see Glacier. We don't want to see Wrath. We don't want to see Mortis. I mean, I did. I loved it.
It was like you appreciate it later. I would say the 80s wrestling, it's the same thing. It was happening in music too, like with gangster rap and grunge, how it just killed off hair metal or what you considered hair metal. But nowadays you still listen to hair metal because, whether you consider it like a pop metal or arena rock would be what I would call it. But what I have is Mongo rules, because I would never besmirch with Mongo. God rest his soul. I'm glad he got in the Hall of Fame. He was the coolest guy I've ever met wrestling wise because he was part of the Bears, 85 Bears. He's the only guy that I thought at that time, when you didn't take pictures with guys, I'm going to get a picture with Mongo. And as long as I don't do this, throw the floor up, it's okay.
Is Mongo your favorite horseman?
I think he's the one that if I got in a fight, I'd want him on my side.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
I think he could whoop every horseman's ass 100%.
Probably.
And I also had Glacier was in his MK2 gear that Midway made him change. So he had to go away, then come back because that was at that time he was still in his Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat 2 without the mask gear.
Three.
Was it 3?
Yeah, 3 is where he doesn't have the mask.
I thought it was 2.
Trust me, I know. It's
okay.
I know my Mortal Kombat lore.
All right, 3, yeah. Whichever one where he debuted without the mask. That was the gear.
Yep, that's 3.
Yep, that was the gear that Glacier was wearing at that time. And Midway was like, you guys can't fucking do this. We own this character and the likeness. So then they had to change his gear.
We talked about it whenever we did that last episode of Nitro. The way that they even do Cold as Ice on screen is the way they do the Mortal Kombat flying letters. Phew, 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 phew. And then they spin.
And his entrance ruled, dude.
It was incredible.
With the snow falling down. Give me that over Pyro. Give me that over Pyro any day.
So mad that WCW is leaving Peacock, dude. God damn.
Not like I've ever had Pyro, but give me the give me that over the smoke machine. I gotta walk out and cough at.
Well, all right. So back from break, order has been restored. Benoit and Sting are in the ring. Did they ever wrestle one-on-one?
Benoit and Sting, I'm sure they did.
Okay,
I didn't look into it.
Surfer Sting, I would rather see Surfer Sting versus Benoit than Crow Sting, you know?
Yeah.
Because it is a different vibe. Sting whips Benoit into the corner, feeds out for the back body drop, takes a clothesline, quickly tags in Flair.
Oh, real quick. When they were fighting at the beginning, did it look like Benoit caught him low as shit with that chop?
Fuck when, yes, Flair he did.
It looked like he caught him in the solar, like under his nipples. I would have beat his ass if I was Sting.
Yeah. Macho Man grabs Flair and they fight over to a VIP section and they start throwing fruit. Why did it feel like that Macho Man just went into business for himself there?
I don't, because I'm going to tell you, they didn't give no shits about this match. This match was to kill time to set up for the angle that was happening, because you could tell there was no rhyme or reason to what they were doing. They did a spot earlier where Macho gets in the ring with Flair and Flair's like, screw you, and kisses Liz and powders out. And then but it was like the week before, that's where the Horsemen were waiting on Flair to get there. They were sitting there in the VIP section. So they got that VIP section over the week before, because
they even had it before. Like I'm going to keep calling back to the episode that Madrox and I reviewed. They had the VIP section.
Was that also at MGM?
Yep. They would always no, the one that we watched. No. The one that they would do it in the arena as well. They would have like a VIP section for the Four Horsemen, and it was dope as fuck, man. It was so cool. Because that's what Ric Flair would do.
Yeah.
Within his character, that's something that he would do.
Yeah, we like the MGMs, just sorry to get off. But the MGM, like when I think of the MGM shows, I think of the one during the day almost. I think probably in the summer where it was the Ray versus Dean Malenko. And it was still day out. It was a killer match. But anyway, back to this match where they just beat the hell out of each other. You can give me the thing, but from what I remember, it was just no rhyme or reason. Everybody was just tagging in randomly. Yeah, fighting with each other.
We're just gonna I'm just gonna speed run through some spots here because I took the time to take the notes, so why not? Flair and Sting end up in the ring. Sting hits a big superplex. Benoit runs in, breaks the pin. Sting hits a sunset flip. Flair gets the blind tag on Mongo. He gets in and starts to work Sting over. Mongo tags in Benoit, and then Sting starts taking some heat. Flair gets Sting in a figure four. Sting does the whole.
They rolled it twice. They rolled it.
Sting does the where I'm in the figure four, and then I get up and flex and roar, which is one of my favorite Sting spots that he would do. They roll over and they reverse the pressure. Flair gets the rope break. Sting gets a roll up out of the figure four, which was really fucking cool. Benoit tags in. They start to work over Sting's leg a little bit. Tag back into Flair. Flair starts chopping Sting. And then suddenly, unexpectedly, the mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart, runs to the ring and starts begging for help. Nobody knows what's going on here.
They're still trying to have the match while he's doing it. So it's like they didn't stop the match right off.
They're not paying attention to him. He gets up on the apron. He is stop the match, guys. Luger is literally in the ring getting ready to do the torture rack. And then he turns around and sees Jimmy Hart. But what does Jimmy Hart need their help for? Well, we're going to talk about that after we hear a word from our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by patreon.com/MadBash Studios. If you head on over to patreon.com/MadBash Studios, you are helping fund the definition of independent. Hundreds of hours of content starting at just $5 a month. You are going to get early, ad-free access to everything that MadBash Studios has to offer, on top of exclusive shows, starting at just $5 a month. That's less than a cup of coffee a month. You can go on over to patreon.com/MadBash Studios and you can support the dream of being unapologetically creative. This episode is brought to you by Venom Energy. Hey, we've all been there, and there's nothing wrong with admitting to it. Well, what I mean is that we've all hit that midday slump, and we all need a little push to get us through the rest of the day. Well, what better option to give you a pick-me-up than one of the wonderful flavors of Venom Energy? Venom is what gets MadBash through those long show days, and we know that it can do the same for you. I'm going to sweeten the pot a little bit for you, too. Yeah. Come to our merch table when you see us at a show, and with the purchase of a MadBash Wrestling sticker or magnet, you get a Venom Energy drink on us. While supplies last, of course, so you better act quick. We'd like to thank Venom again for sponsoring this episode. Please consume responsibly. Not recommended for children under 18, pregnant or nursing women, or people sensitive to caffeine. All right, so what is about to happen now is what Oliver and I were talking about at the top of this. This is, and I'm going to say it right now, bar none, the best 40 minutes, you would say?
I think so.
It was about 30 to 45 minutes. This is the best 30 to 45 minutes I have ever seen on a weekly wrestling television show. Jimmy Hart finally gets everyone's attention. The match is thrown out. They walk to the back, and we see Arn Anderson.
No, that's not what happens. That's not what happens. They don't just walk. They send a camera.
They send the camera back.
Follow Jimmy,
I'm sorry.
And you follow the camera to Jimmy. So
yep.
it was hectic. It was one shot. They tried to cut away, then they went back to it.
Okay.
So it wasn't like they just walked, because they were still, you could still hear them bumping in the ring. And then as they head back, you hear the bell ring where they're like, Larry's like, they just abandoned the match. What's going on? And then you see.
And here's what's important to remember. There's no Jumbotron. There's no Jumbotron.
No Jumbo, no smartphones.
Nothing
like that.
So
earlier in the night, when they announced the matches, they said Ray's going to be facing Eddie. The American males are going to be facing the Steiner brothers, and Arn's going to be facing the Giant. So they put those guys into your head. They preloaded it. They foreshadowed what was going to happen. So when you go in the back, you see Arn is laid out. It's holding his arm. He's laid out.
That's the first thing you see.
Yep. Then they pan over. You see Marcus Alexander Bagwell on the ground, or buff, but he wasn't buff yet. You see the NWO with their bats. They did not hit anybody with their bats. They've
got baseball bats.
They hit
coward jerks.
they hit the bat on the ground to get the sound over. All of a sudden, here comes Scotty Riggs. He's checking on Marcus out of nowhere. Scott Hall picks up a light. Was it a cam? What would you call that?
It was like a can light. Yeah.
Yeah. Busts him over his head, puts him down. Here comes Ray out of the trailer. The most
iconic thing. And like in oh my God spot moments, how many people do you know that bring up when they talk about Rey Mysterio, they talk about the production truck lawn dart?
Yep.
This is iconic.
Jumps at Nash. Nash catches him, throws him into the thing. Fun story about that. You see, I got the audiobook for Here Comes the Bad Guys, which talks about the NWO's run and how they came up.
Which is a big reason that we decided to do this one.
Yes. He talks about it. Nash said, Ray asked him, hey, man, because if you look, there's a window. Can you throw me through this window?
Oh,
Ray wanted him to throw him through that window. And Nash says, no, dude, there's glass in it. You could die.
Yeah, real glass, cry me a river.
He's like, let me just throw you against the thing. You land on your feet. Ray takes it. He sells. They do their little taunting. All of a sudden, they're getting towards the thing. They see Savage taking off. Hop into the limo.
And here's what's important about this. The big final moment is he lawn darts Ray, and they're standing back and they're all cool backing up to their limo. And then you see them all of a sudden start moving with haste. We don't know what's going on behind the camera. Mm-hmm. Here comes Macho Man Randy Savage like a bat out of hell. They hurry up, hop in the limo. Macho Man jumps on top of the limo and is trying to crawl through the sunroof to get to them as the limo drives off.
Yes.
That is, again, when I talk about these core memories of this episode of 5-year-old Josh watching this episode, that is what I remember the most. Is the lawn dart is number one. It's always going to be number one. But what I remember specifically from the moment is Macho Man on that limo trying to get down to them. My God, fucking perfect. And that's exactly what Macho Man would do because he's crazy.
Yes. And so to me, that's and then it cuts. And then, the guys on camera, the announcers hear it and they don't know what to do. Like, no. And these guys are, like I said, bending kayfabe. They're checking on each other. The Dungeon of Doom, who Jimmy Hart's a part of, was having this big feud right now with the Horsemen. They're all checking on each other, checking on Arn. Woman's going, saying he's got a broken arm.
You cut to Sting is with Marcus Bagwell checking on him.
And then
Eddie is checking on Ray. So then Sting looks at Eddie and he's like, Eddie, what's Ray saying? What's going on here? They're all communicating amongst each other. Meanwhile, you got Flair, who is just standing there with his hands on his hips, just looking down at his friend Arn, who is selling this broken arm. You got Woman, who is losing her fucking mind. They hit it with a baseball bat. I'm going to say this right now. The MVPs of this segment, there's 3 MVPs in my opinion. It's Arn, it's Nancy, Woman, and Eddie. They're the 3 MVPs of this segment. They sell it so well. Not to discredit how anybody else sells it, but just the way that Woman is crying because Arn Anderson could have a broken arm. Benoit is standing, is just there with just this 1,000-yard stare on his face. Mm-hmm. And he is you can see he's steaming, and they're putting it over on commentary. It's like he worships the ground that Arn Anderson walks on. Arn Anderson is one of his heroes.
Flair's
to see him shock. Like this. Yeah, Flair's in shock. Mongo is going fucking ballistic.
Like I would buy Mongo doing, like, batshit crazy Mongo in a bar fight.
you sold me on that because at first I was like, dude, Mongo killed it. Mongo's acting is terrible. And then you were like, no, dude, that's how he would act in that moment. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah. Just like you have explained so many things to me that have made a light bulb go off. And that's one of them. But yeah, dude.
They cut to the comment. Well, okay. Not to get too morbid. I'm not going to touch on the Benoit stuff because whatever.
Well, but we always do a disclaimer. We always do a disclaimer when we talk about Benoit. We are talking about the in-ring performer, not the man.
But what I mean, well, because I prefaced it with being Mormon, but people talk about the Owen Hart voice on commentary.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Like when the tragedy happened to Owen and when they came back, they talked solemn and do this. And now guys use that to try to make something seem more important. This was before Owen. They were doing that in this segment. They were doing this to sell the kayfabe.
Yeah.
They were talking like, oh my gosh, what happened? Is he okay? I can't believe they would do that. What's going on? This, that, and the other. There's at one point where they're putting they're putting Ray on a board and securing his neck. And
you have put this part over to me so much.
And Eddie's like, there. And he's asking them, and Ray's like, there was 4 of them. There was 4 of them. And he goes, what do you mean there's 4 of them? What do you mean? There was only 2. We only saw 2. Yeah. But as they're taking the mask off, the Eddie's like, take your mask off so you can put the thing. Shivani says, oh my gosh, he took his mask off. And you know how luchadors are with their mask. They never take their mask off.
Yeah. Selling
that point of how serious this is. And then, of course, it gets ruined by Zbyszko. He is the new world odor of this broadcast. Because he's like, who cares about the mask? And it's like, no, you idiot. You're stepping over a line that's going to make the scene more important.
44-year-old Larry Zbyszko is trying to be intimidating. And it's just like, what the fuck, dude? Yes. By the way, the reason I say 44-year-old Larry Zbyszko, Oliver and I are obsessed with people from this time period who look way older than they actually are.
Yeah. Duggan was 42 in his match. I don't remember how old Mike Enos was because I didn't care. No offense to Mike Enos, but he was not like a bigger name. In the 6-man tag, Flair, 47. Sting, 37. Luger, 38. Savage was 43.
Sting was 37?
Yeah. I don't remember how old. I didn't get how old Mongo and Sting was 37, I believe. Because it was in 96.
How old is Sting? Sting is 66? Fuck. Yeah. Wow. I didn't know Sting was that old. That just seems weird to me that Sting is 37. I would have pictured him like my age, which I'm not far behind 37. No, I mean I'm 34. But
Sting would be a young main eventer in the Fed right now. But it's the segment is so done beautifully. In the book, they talk about how they wanted to do something like Hill Street Blues, because Hill Street Blues was a show back then. That was the first one to do like the single shot, no cutaways. So that's why they wanted to do that with the jump. And they wanted to make sure everybody who was with each other would normally be with each other. Like when they're taking Bagwell away and they're loading him up into the ambulance, they talk about, you might not sing, like they said, Marcus Bagwell's a good friend of Sting and Luger. You might not see them interact on our television, but they own a gym together and they work out together. So it's like, it's a way of acknowledging it without being, too in your face and killing the kayfabe of it. It is done so well. And then you see the guys from the Dungeon of Doom come in and there's still kind of heat with them. And then Jimmy Hart's freaking out, trying to calm everybody the fuck down and being like, dude, there's more important shit than this right now, guys.
What about the what about the way Haku is dressed during this?
I love that, dude. That's old school. Black dress shorts or khaki dress short or navy dress shorts, no shirt, loafers.
With no socks.
Yeah. He probably had a chain on him too. That was just the pleats were out in effect. The baggy pleated khakis and dress shorts were out in effect in 96, man. That was what you wore. the amount of polos rocked. Like, just look at the commentators. They were pleated.
I want the polos they were wearing, man. I want one of those polos.
You probably can find one because I was able to find the bats they use because I.
So let's get into the. We touched on it earlier. This is how autistic allegedly Oliver Cain is. I get a text from him. Go ahead, Oliver. What information did you find out that no sane human being would even begin to try to figure out?
Well, the metal bats they used were Easton Magnums, and they had multiple different. But the ones they actually used had the navy blue handle. Like if you look up an Easton Magnum aluminum bat with a navy blue handle. I about bought one off eBay because I'm a weirdo. And then I thought, it'd be cool if I could get Kevin Nash to sign one of them.
Here it is on eBay. The exact bat, $24.47, brother.
Yeah, I found one for $9.90 something with like $20 shipping, and I almost pulled the trigger on it.
Yeah, this one might not be the exact one, but it's an Easton Magnum BK5, 28.5 ounce.
Yeah, it's the one that's got the red and blue.
Yeah,
it's gray and it's got the blue handle. That's it. Mm-hmm. There's one that has like a navy blue handle, and that's the bat. Because
why?
I'm a weirdo, dude. I'm like, because I thought if I ever did a show and did a run in with a bat, I'd want to use one of those just
to pop two
myself.
People.
Yeah.
To pop the two people would be me and you. But yeah, man, this I talked about the MVPs of this segment, Arn, Woman, and Eddie. Eddie's concern as Ray is getting loaded into the ambulance is so genuinely good. And like they're loading him into the ambulance and Alex Wright gets in and Eddie is about to get in. And Alex Wright's like, no, you stay, you go, you have a match to wrestle. Eddie. You go. And then Eddie's just like, what? Like Eddie is just so heartbroken. And you can tell that he's so sad. And that's what we talk about bending of kayfabe. He was supposed to wrestle Ray. And now Ray is hurt.
Well, he does wrestle a Ray. But it's different.
We'll get there. I don't know. I think we've spent plenty of time on this. I could go another half hour.
It was. I looked at it because I made a note about it. It was 20 minutes long. On Peacock, where they didn't have any in-ring action. 20 minutes on Peacock. So that's you take out the 5-minute commercials. And they start the next top of the hour.
So that was probably about 30 minutes. It was probably about
35 minutes or so.
35
easily.
Minutes, yeah. Wow. That's long.
You start the second hour and Bischoff's out there and but you don't know who Bischoff is yet,
Yeah. Here's my false memory. I thought that this closed the show. I didn't remember this happening mid-show. But now you look back on it and it's like, yeah. But
Bischoff always was the one that would. He never thought the end of the show was as important as like that top of the hour.
Yep,
that's how you hook the people in.
Because this was the time period where they were putting over the first and second hour, big time. Yeah,
and they were running unopposed that first hour because I remember they were 7 to 9 at one time, while WWE was 8 to 10. Yep. And then WCW went 3 hours, and then. Whatever.
Well, so we come back from break. Eric Bischoff and Bobby Heenan are now at the booth. Heenan then gives an incredible fucking speech. I'll let you take over that one.
Dude, he talks and he sells it like this was a Robert Heenan promo. I hate to use which that's not even his real name. But anyway, it's a Robert Heenan, not Bobby the Brain, because he's like, I have like nerve damage. I have a broken back. If you can't protect me, I'm going to leave.
And then Bischoff looks right at him and says, Brain, I can't promise safety.
No.
He goes, okay. And then
do what you got to do. Yes.
And then he leaves. And then
putting over the seriousness of this.
Yeah. And then it felt so real because he looks at Tony and Larry and he's like, guys, I'm going to need your help. Like he feels he is like he sells the seriousness of it.
And he doesn't
so great.
And he doesn't do it like it's not a wrestling thing, because he tells Bobby, he's like, I can't promise you this. You have to do what's best for you. I won't think any less of you.
Yeah. And then he goes, okay, I'm leaving. And then he leaves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Bischoff does an incredible job during commentary when he's out there selling the seriousness of it, selling how, and they never leave. They never get like full pro wrestling voices, like commentary, what we're used to. They still stay in that somber, shell-shocked, trying to figure out what the hell happened. Are they going to come back? What are they going to do to us? Because we, if they did that to them, like, and there's four of them now, but we only know two of them.
Who was four?
If you want to count DiBiase.
Was it DiBiase?
He was before, because the Giant, I don't remember when the Giant was. The Giant was pretty soon after that.
Yeah, because he was one of the early ones. He was one of the early ones.
And then I can't think of who was between Nash and, before 6. You know what I mean? Like, because you had DiBiase, but they might have retconned DiBiase. I don't remember if you counted DiBiase as it to make 6-6, or they retconned DiBiase being a member of the NWO.
The fourth man was Ted DiBiase. According to AI overview on Google, it says the fourth member of the original New World Order was Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man, who joined the group in late '96 as their financer. I do remember that. Then and then the Giant 5. Is considered the fifth, and then
6 is 6.
Yep.
And then after that, who cares? Until Scott Steiner joins.
Speaking of Scott Steiner, it's now time for the Steiners versus High Voltage. This is an impromptu match, and they even announce it as an impromptu match, which is pretty fucking cool. I think the word they use is impromptu.
Like that.
Yeah, I don't remember. So the second hour of Nitro is starting. Fireworks start going off. It's High Voltage versus the Steiners. High Voltage comes out first. Here come the Steiners, and Rick Steiner looks like he is on another planet.
Yeah, he does. Looking behind him, he's not. He stays, like, when they get in the ring, they do their entrance, and he powders out, and he's standing while Scott's starting the match off, he's on the floor watching the entrance. Yeah, he's looking all over.
Scott Steiner starts the match, and Rick Steiner's not even on the apron. No. He's just pacing around. And by the way, I always like to distinguish whenever we talk about Scott Steiner. This is Scotty Steiner.
Yes.
And Scotty Steiner is my favorite Scott Steiner. So yeah, the bell rings. Rick isn't even on the apron. Keeps looking back at the locker room, expecting an attack. After working the match out a bit, Scotty finally gets out, and he tells Rick, he's like, look, you got to get on the apron. Tags in Rick. Rick is so distracted that High Voltage then take command of the match, run a little bit of heat on him. Rick gets a tag into Scotty. Scotty hits the power slam and then follows up with the double underhook gimmick. There's really not much to talk about with this match, but the
Steiner screwdriver, baby.
The finish was the Steiner screwdriver, and my God, I forgot how fucking brutal that move looks. That move is fucking awesome. Bring it back, somebody. Those want someone to bring it back.
With the traps on High Voltage and the thighs on Scotty Steiner, those guys were fine. 34 and 35, respectfully.
For the Steiners?
Yes.
So Scotty Steiner's the same age as me in this match.
But like, okay, I'm looking and I'm trying to see what I had. I had something that I wanted to touch on. The dead period when they were putting that over, because like we said, no smartphones, no big screens to show that stuff.
Oh yeah, so
they got a boring chant.
I know what you're getting. Yeah, I know what you're going to get into. You're going to get into the fireworks.
Yes.
There was a boring chant. And you got to wonder what was going through Bischoff's mind as that boring chant was happening. Do you think he regretted it?
That was not during the match, but towards the.
So this was not during the match.
This was towards the end of the segment that they were doing with everybody injured, because they were selling it that way. The fans, from what you said, you looked up on something where someone who said they were there said, we didn't know, had no idea what was going on. And so they started a boring chant.
I ended up on a Reddit post about someone that was there when this happened. It was like a general, what were the WCW and MGM shows like? And this guy gave an answer, and he was like, look, I was there the night they did the lawn dart, and he explained it. He's like, it was 30 minutes of nothing. We had no idea what was going on. And he goes, that's why the boring chant started. Yeah. Because they were just in the back. And then the first match back, we get the Steiners versus High Voltage, and that was pretty cool. But it's like, man, for 30 minutes, not counting commercials, the show is an hour and a half long. That's a third of the show was nothing. Yeah. It was nothing.
That's why I say it's the greatest pro wrestling television program, but would have been terrible live.
It would have been awful. It would have been awful. So then to your point, that you're going to make about these fireworks. They always start the second hour with a pyro display, and they did that here. But what's different about it is that they could tell, fuck, we lost the crowd, so let's keep the fireworks going a little bit. And this is during the match.
Yeah.
This is while they're in the match.
There's been times when they'll have a match because Nitro would do this, where they would start a match in the first hour and then it would continue into the second hour. So when the second hour would start, they'd do the promo and play the quick intro music so everybody would know the second hour is starting. This wasn't one of those deals because they had already done the pyro when Bischoff and them were there.
Yep.
They kept doing the pyro a little bit during the match to try to get the crowd back because they were so afraid about the boring thing, which that's probably one thing, which, you know what? If you think about it, I'm sure they took that into account because this match wasn't tailored for the live audience. This match is to like really get the television audience and get people to really buy into the NWO and all that stuff.
I would argue the entire show is not tailored for the live audience.
Yes.
I think we've proven that point.
But I don't know. I think the main event match was definitely tailored for the live audience.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Steiner screwdriver for the finish. They brought the crowd back, which was good. And boy, did this next match lose the crowd, in my opinion. We have got Big Bubba versus Eddie Guerrero. So I just found it in my notes. They call it a standby match, not a fill-in match. They call it a standby match. David Pinzer actually announces the following standby contest. So it was a standby contest.
But you've never heard that on a show?
Never. Because again, we keep going back to it because this is the crux of the episode. Eric Bischoff openly says on commentary, as shit is going down, we're going to have to get some standby matches. And that's what ends up happening. So we got Big Bubba, Ray Traylor versus Eddie Guerrero. And here's what I've always loved about Big Bubba is that as he's coming to the ring, he is dressed just like Vito from The Sopranos whenever he was in the club.
He's the king of street clothes, baby. He is
the king of wrestling and street clothes. Yes. That's almost shirt worthy, brother. Just a picture of Big Bubba, the king of wrestling.
Well, you got him. I forgot what his name was when he was with Jim Cornette. He was in a suit.
And he was Big Bubba, wasn't he?
Yes, yeah. Then he was the Big Boss Man.
Big Bubba Rogers.
Yeah. Then he comes in as the boss, but WWE's like, no, you can't do that. So then they make him Guardian Angel. So he's wearing street clothes again, and now he's Big Bubba. I think he even might have been Ray Traylor towards the end of his run at WCW before he came back as Big Boss Man to WWE.
Here's all of his gimmicks. The Big Boss Man, Boss Man,
street clothes,
Big Boss Man, but Boss Man is one word.
Street clothes,
the Man, Big Bubba, Big Bubba Rogers,
street clothes,
the Boss, the Guardian Angel, Ray Traylor, and War Machine.
I don't know what War Machine was.
It's
something in
Tony
Mexico.
Stark's sidekick. Yeah, it was probably something he did whenever he did the lucha loop.
But but here's another guy. Him and John Tenta were the guys that you thought were 40 years old, and he's 33 in this match.
He's
Eddie's
younger
28.
than I am now.
I do like his cowboy boots that he wrestled in. Because I've never seen like the black cowboy boots to be wrestled in. It's like the big dusty ones or not Terry Taylor, no, Barry Windham. But his looked like just legit cowboy boots. He had the soles redone on.
Yeah. So this is just, there's really, really not a lot of to talk about this match. It's just your typical big man versus speed match. Big Bubba overpowers Eddie early on, and then that's the match. It's just a long heat, just wears him down. There's a few hope spots. It's just slow and methodical. Eddie gets some hope, but really not a lot.
Two of the most genuine people in the wrestling business, if you listen to what people have told about those guys.
That's what I've heard.
And it did make me laugh because he's like, he's not wrestling Ray tonight. And I'm like, well, technically, he's wrestling a different Ray.
Which is the most Oliver Cain joke I've ever heard in my entire life.
So it was, like I said, I checked out of watching the wrestling part of it and was just focused on like what they're trying to get across and the storyline aspect. And because the wrestling in this show was really didn't matter. It did not matter one bit what they were doing in the ring because they were the whole aspect of it. And when has you ever seen a show where the heels disrupt the show, but then all this other stuff still happens? This is, and not the last segment either.
Yeah,
not the opening segment. So we get it back together. No, this was brilliantly done, and
I would say that this is better than the Nexus debut.
Mm-hmm.
This is better than the Nexus debut. This is better. I'm trying to think of what's some other moments where the heels took over the show. You know what? I'm going to say something really that Dickie from like 2 or 3 years ago would backhand me for this. This is better than the TNA prison riot.
Ooh, I'm trying to remember that one. That was a good one, though.
That was awesome, and I loved it.
Was Bischoff there at the time, though?
No.
Bischoff wasn't at TNA at the time?
No, that was Main Event Mafia versus the Frontline era. So that was probably, let's look this up here. What year?
Because Bischoff and them did some real. I always liked some of the stuff because Bischoff would try new things. And he did some really groundbreaking stuff in the TNA stuff. People don't like it in hindsight about him and the Hogan stuff, but they were doing some really cool, like.
So the prison riot took place in August of 2009, and then Bischoff and Hogan came in January of 2010.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh no!
So this was one of the last.
I had forgotten about that, but now that you said that, it was still.
Yeah.
But people shit on the Hogan Bischoff era TNA because it wasn't the pure TNA.
It wasn't the TNA they wanted.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So let's get back to this matchup here.
They did some cool shit.
They did. Eddie starts a comeback with a tornado DDT after Bubba sits him on the top rope, but Eddie's comeback is cut off. As Hart tries to distract the ref. As the ref is distracted, Jimmy throws the megaphone, and I'm trying to figure out what happened here because Bubba tries to get the microphone and he can't catch it, which I think was a shoot. I think that he was supposed to catch the microphone or
It was awkward, but like it didn't.
Megaphone,
it seemed real.
Yeah,
which the finish looked like it was two professionals that if you tried that shit nowadays, people would just be fucking lost.
Yeah.
They kept going and it was. Yeah. Go ahead,
as Eddie or as Bubba's fumbling with the megaphone, Eddie comes off sunset flip 1, 2, 3. But as you were saying, if it was done today, you would have been able to tell that it was choreographed.
It looked like it was obviously a botch, quote unquote, but they rolled with it so well because they're so professional that it just looked like Eddie outquicked him and beat him.
Yep. And that's what this match was ultimately.
Yeah. Which led to Eddie versus Flair at Hog Wild, which is terrible. They just don't mesh. Some guys just don't have chemistry together. Like you would think Shawn Michaels and Mr. Perfect would be great against each other, but they wrestle too similar that it kind of like They're both bumping too much for each other, if that makes any sense.
Who is the biggest disappointment of they didn't have chemistry, in your opinion? I know mine. Do you want me to tell you mine and then?
Do you mean just a match or guys against each other?
Just guys against each other in general. Like the match takes place and you're super fucking hyped for it, and then you realize they don't have chemistry.
You go first, because I can't think of anybody right now. I can think of one match I was extremely disappointed in because they had a match earlier that was phenomenal, quote unquote.
Well, it's funny you say phenomenal, because I think that we might be thinking of the same people, at least one of them. One of the most disappointing people that you find out they don't have chemistry is Edge and AJ. Edge and AJ had zero chemistry.
I was never a big Edge fan. I thought
Cope
Christian was a better worker, which a lot of people think, but yeah, Cope. No, I can't put that on Styles, because he's had great matches with him. No,
I'm not saying not saying that I'm putting it on Styles specifically. I'm just saying
I will never besmirch the name of AJ Styles. Damn it.
Yeah,
but I can just think of the match that I thought was going to be great, and it was terrible. Well, it wasn't terrible. It was just WrestleMania matches are hard. In the Styles Nakamura WrestleMania match broke my heart,
AJ, yeah,
because their Wrestle Kingdom
matches
I think the Wrestle Kingdom match is better than the Sami Zayn Shinsuke match that happened a little bit after that.
I'll agree with you. And what's so funny about this is literally last week, Zach Abstract sent us a recap video of their Wrestle Kingdom match to our group chat, which our group chat is literally just Japanese wrestling. That's all it is. It's just, we have a group chat on IG that is me, Oliver, and Zach Abstract, and it's sneakers and Japanese wrestling. That's all it is. Yeah. And it's the best group chat I'm a part of.
Yeah, I just Styles, that WrestleMania match, because there's something about the open stadium WrestleManias that just the crowd, the noise goes up, so you can't have good wrestling matches at WrestleMania, I believe. They have to be showman style matches. Like, it has to be vaudeville style. Like the Cody and Roman match, if not for the last some odd minutes of it, like, no one cares. You just have to have that finish that's good. So it's hard to have. It doesn't have that aura where, like, in Japan, you can watch the whole match and be like, "Oh, this was great until this."
Yeah,
that's my hot take, which that's our next show, is our hot take show.
Oh my God. Yeah. So to give you a little teaser, whether it's paid show or whether it's a future spot show, Oliver and I are going to do an episode that is fully hot takes, and they are going to be some of the hottest takes you've ever heard. Let's get into
the promo.
Let's wrap up.
Let's do the promo real quick.
That's what we have to, man. These NWO standing in front of the screen black and white promos are so fucking good. My big takeaway from this is Hogan's facial hair wasn't quite there yet. Did you notice that his Fu Manchu was coming down, but it was really thin on the bottom? Did you notice that?
I didn't notice that. All I noticed is that, thank God that editor saved those promos.
Yeah.
Because Hogan was doing fee-fi-fo, bull, like 1980s cartoon villain. But thank God he learned, like, the mid-range of it. Because if not for him, like, the NWO was cool because of
Okay, I was gonna set you up for this. Talk about your theory about cool Hogan. Okay. I love this theory.
Okay. If not for dorky Hogan, because that's what he is. He's midlife crisis Hogan, trying to get and he's overdoing it. It's like when your dad, it's like, I will use, like me doing the 6'7" thing. I know around my kids, it's the lamest shit in the world, and I do it because it's funny. That's Hogan as the heel trying to be cool, but he's doing it, like, earnestly. He doesn't understand that he's not being cool because he's been the coolest guy in the fucking room for 20 years. So now he's doing this shit, and it's just like, but the NWO would have never worked as a heel group if Hogan wouldn't have been lame in comparison to Hall and Nash, because then they would have just been straight up baby faces.
They would have been cool.
Yeah.
They would have been way too cool.
Hogan balances the coolness of Nash out with the dorky dad of it. Like he's the guy that like, yeah, we got to bring dad. Dad, we can't, you know what I'm saying? Like he balances and makes it work because even the most people like, because they, are you here to see WCW or the NWO? Even the people that love the NWO hated Hogan. And Hogan bumped his ass off for everybody. He did the same thing he did as a babyface. He would just go over at the end, but he never went over clean as a heel. I think I'm the only guy that wanted Hogan to win at Starrcade against Sting because I was, 14 at the time and a Hulkster, like a Hulkamaniac since I was 3. So I'm still like Hogan rules. Hence, the shirt. Censor that.
Listen, those of you on Patreon that are going to see the video of this podcast, Oliver Cain is wearing the greatest Hulk Hogan shirt ever made.
Yeah. It's him and 2 bikini chicks.
Yeah.
It's like AWA Japanese Hogan. But
which is your favorite Hogan?
I love them all, dude.
Ichiban.
I didn't like the skinny red and yellow Hogan.
Oh, yeah.
Like 91 thick Hogan when he fought Stan Hansen in that joint show or I don't know, maybe that'd been 92 or 94 around there.
I'm going to tell my favorite Oliver Cain story in terms of him being such a Hogan fan. And then we'll get into the
finish of the show.
Yeah, the finish of this show. So Oliver is one of these guys that when he gets an idea in his head, he's going to do it. And your favorite promo of all time, tell me if I'm wrong, is Stan Hansen tonight at the Egg Dome. Axe Bomba.
I love that shit.
That's Oliver Cain's favorite promo of all time. So in that promo, Hogan slaps his bicep whenever he says Axe Bomba. So Oliver gets the idea. I'm going to do that in a promo, dude. So you cut the promo and you don't say Axe Bomba. You do whatever you do. And you're slapping your bicep.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you had to do so many retakes of the promo that you bruised your bicep from you.
I don't know how to work. I don't know how to work slapping my arm when I'm doing the Hogan.
Oliver, listen.
Head clean off.
You are truly one of my favorite human beings, and that story embodies why I love you so much.
I work in Hogan spots everywhere I go. I did a Hogan Zeus spot on a lucha show.
Well, we did the fucking Hogan doing the Hindu squats whenever we did that promo to hype up your match with Zach.
I did Hogan spots against Colby in our match, but anyway, that's my theory that if Hogan wasn't the like chicken shit nerd heel, then the NWO would have failed because they already kind of failed because Bischoff saw the popularity and then thought, well, maybe we shift it to the NWO. But here it is. Oh, perfect take on the NWO why it failed. It's like the Eric Foreman theory. It's like the Richie Cunningham theory, okay? When they pulled Richie Cunningham from Happy Days, it died. Much like when they pulled Eric Foreman from that 70s shows, it died. WCW was the Eric Foreman, but they didn't have anybody to be Eric Foreman. So when it was the cool NWO, like he was like Hyde and, Kelso. But without someone to represent WCW, DDP was the guy that was kind of the Eric Foreman. But when they kind of messed with his character, that's when WCW died. That's why when they tried to do that match and it shit the bed. Remember when they did the Nitro? That was NWO Nitro right before the Starrcade, and it just shit the bed and everybody turned it off. That's because NWO are great side characters, but without the heart and soul, which was, in my opinion, like DDP or Luger, but DDP was way better than Luger, in my opinion.
Yes.
That's why it shit the bed. That's why you could never go full NWO because you had to have the moral compass, the every guy character, the Eric Foreman that was WCW. Does that make any sense, or am I just
Yeah, it does. And that's what's so fucked up about it is that it makes no sense. So that's why it makes sense. It's incredible. And my whole point with the NWO, and we're getting way off topic here. The thing about, the cool heels, the heels NWO, I brought up a point to you the other day, and I don't remember if you agreed with me or if you thought I was fucking batshit, but there is a solid argument to be made that the NWO truly were never meant to be heels. If you look at the NWO, the idea was that they wanted to set up two organizations, and they made one this way, the gritty assholes that are going to attack you with ball bats.
Yeah.
And then they made WCW, the white meat baby face, we're going to do this style of wrestling, because it's like not every heel was in the NWO, just like not every baby face was in WCW. So I think early on that's what they were trying to do.
Oh, you want to hear I just had a real mind fuck thing that just hit me.
Please, brother, I live for this shit.
Okay, so the WCW NWO thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was the original pitch of the NWO, which they got sued for?
It was the New Japan group.
No. Who they think the NWO represented? Who they think Nash and Hall represented?
Oh, okay, yeah. They wanted it to be a WWF invasion.
Yes. So in a sense, was the NWO like the Attitude Era WWE versus WCW? Therefore, the NWO actually did take over WCW, because who bought WCW at the end of the day?
The mental gymnastics that you just did to make that point are astounding to me. That is why I fucking love you.
But it makes complete sense, don't it? If you think about it.
It does.
Because at that time, WCW was just the good old boys type thing. And no one's ever going to be cooler. And with Nash and Hall were coming from from WWE right before the Attitude hit. And so they kind of played together. Wouldn't Stone Cold fit in with the NWO?
Yeah. Fuck.
So
why didn't I think of that?
It's like in a way, it was a self-fulfilling prophecy, because like Nash said, he's like, you guys made 3 WWE guys be able to hold off your whole organization.
Yeah.
That's what you don't realize, because that's what they were billed as. Before they was
wow.
So I don't know. Maybe you got me thinking, because my if you watch this back, you can see my eyes light up as you're describing that, because I'm like, that's when it hit me, because I'm like, in a sense, the WCW was WCW and the NWO was portraying WWE, and look what happened.
Yeah. Well, let's close out the show here, because we've still got one more match, and it's a fucking banger of a match. So we do the NWO promo. Yeah,
they recapped everything.
We do the NWO promo, then we go into a recap of reminding everyone, look, here's what's happened so far.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we are doing these fill-in matches or standby contests.
Mm-hmm.
We then get what I jokingly said, a 34-year-old Greg the Hammer Valentine.
44, brother.
He was 44.
44.
We now cut to the main event, which is, of course, Greg the Hammer Valentine versus the WCW World Champion, the Giant. 5-star classic here, brother. They start off with the "you can't knock me down" spot. Giant doesn't bump. And then Giant starts working him over. He misses a big splash in the corner. Greg Valentine goes up to the second. Giant comes up and goozles him. Boom, big choke slam. Picks him up again. Boom, another choke slam. 1, 2, 3. By the way, did not leave out a single spot. That was the exact main event. It was all of 2 to 3 minutes. After the match, Mean Gene gets in the ring and he's talking to the Giant. The Giant starts to do a Hulk Hogan promo, but then he falls out of it and he's like, I did it because I want to show you how easy it is to believe. And what I believe is that the Giant is 25 years old.
Nope, 24.
Or 24.
He hadn't turned 25 yet.
Yeah. and he's already calling Hogan a part-timer. Like he's ahead of himself. Like he's so many years ahead of himself, because it's like in 24 years, that would be the big thing of like, this guy's just a part-timer. I'm here to carry the banner for the company while this guy's
and
just
it's weird. It's weird because the Giant became babyface de facto, because when Hogan turned, Giant's like, somebody's got to face Hogan's facing whoever the champion is, and Giant was heel, and then followed by that is a wonderful bending of kayfabe promo by James Hart, not Jimmy, the mouth of the South Hart, but like he doesn't have the high pitched voice, none of that. It is very great way to end the show. I think they recap it again. I think at the end of the night with if I remember correctly, but it's brilliant that at the beginning of the main event, before the main event starts, they recap the attack. So anybody's turning in for the main event, they're recapping. And also with the standby match, you're like, who knows? Like if this would have been done a little bit later, I'm sure Bischoff would have brought like some new signee and had them as one of the surprise entrants in the matches. Because this was before people were super jumping ship. But it was phenomenal. Jimmy Hart's promo was great. The Jimmy Duggan, the Jim Duggan promo was great. Everything was handled great, except Zbyszko trying to get over New World odor and trying to be a tough guy.
Yeah. Zbyszko was really the one low light. So I say, so that's the end of the episode. Oliver, why don't you go ahead and give me your ranking of this episode on the MadBash scale of 5?
Like 5 being the best?
5 being the best, and you can use points, like point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
5, dude. It's the perfect television wrestling show.
Yeah, this is a 5 of 5.
It's not what we want to watch these matches. No, but it's a great way to show how to tell a story. It's a great way, especially if you're doing weekly booking and you need something. It sets the tone for the NWO. It makes it seem like it gives the NWO weight to them, as opposed to just them being some random heel faction. Because nowadays, anytime a heel becomes champion, he's got a new heel faction. And it's been overdone, almost as bad as the heel authority figure. But this is the first, and Hogan's not even on the show other than the promo.
This is why this was so weird, is that you and I, like I said, we were originally going to do Bash at the Beach 96. And so here's a little peek behind the curtain.
Then we thought we were going to do the Nitro after Bash at the Beach until we realized Hogan's not on that one.
That's what I'm getting at. So we were going to do, so here's a little peek behind the curtain here, is when we did episode 100 of Spot Show, we were thinking of rebranding Spot Show, where we started at Bash at the Beach 96 and then watched WCW Nitro and did reviews every week. We've since pivoted. We're not doing that anymore. We're now back to the typical Spot Show format that you guys know and love. Really good thing that we didn't do that, now that all the WCW stuff is fucking leaving Peacock. But anyways, that's what got us talking, is that I was like, Oliver, let's do Bash at the Beach 96. And you're like, okay, yeah, sure, let's fucking do it. But then we got talking, and then I'm like, what if we do the episode after? And then you go, okay. And then you go, hang on, what if we do the lawn dart episode? And then I'm like, yes, perfect. So because this entire time period was so good, and this was the crescendo. But here's what's crazy. This isn't even the go home for Hog Wild.
No.
There's one more.
I was watching because I started that one because I was bored. And they start that next episode with the ring surrounded by their big heavies like Scott Norton and the Faces of Fear and Big Bubba. They're out there around the ring so NWO can attack people.
Is that an MGM one, or are they back in arena?
Yes, they're an MGM.
What's better? What's a better vibe? The MGM episodes or the Club La Vila where they were in the ring? Or in the pool? The pool is goated.
Yes, that's the better vibe, because it was WCW would do that shit though. Like WWE has never done that. Like they would try to, like, they kind of stole the idea a little bit, but like Bischoff was willing to try all these new things, and the spring break episodes were sweet. And Sting coming down from a fucking helicopter was like, what the,
yeah,
and
dude.
it was just something about it.
I love it.
Those were, and this is what I'm going to say about the cool heels. Okay. There have been 2 mega cool heels that you will never be cooler than. Well, let me lump Hall and Nash together. NWO Hall and Nash.
Yeah. They're a package deal.
Yeah. And there's only one, my second favorite cool heel that you will never touch his coolness is, you're going to pop for this, the Real Rock and Roller. You will never touch the Real Rock and Roller Prince Devitt's initial turn in the Bullet Club as being cool.
So you remember I talked about this group chat of me, Zach Abstract, and Oliver Cain. That group chat might as well just be called the Prince Devitt fan club, because we are all just huge Prince Devitt Real Rock and Roller marks. God,
he kind of went from not really having a personality when he was just Prince Devitt as the baby face. He was just, I'm a baby face. And then when he became Real Rock and Roller, like, that song ruled, and he would ride out on shout out to Fale, love that guy. On his shoulders.
He would be on Bad Luck Fale's shoulders. Yeah. So fucking cool, dude.
They weren't pushing the junior heavyweights. Like, if he would have done that a couple years ago when they did the Kenny and Okada and all that stuff, dude, he would have had the main event title, but they were still not pushing guys. But at the same time, Shinsuke was cool as hell back then too.
Yeah.
Like, that was a big get when WWE got Styles and Shinsuke at the same time, and
the Good Brothers.
Because even Styles slid in once. That was probably the coolest. Styles almost gave me a vibe of, he's so cool. He's got the Bret Hart, like, non-cool. But Styles almost gives me the vibe of Hogan, in the sense of he's cool, but he's dorky cool. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
If he's trying to really be like, do you know what I'm saying? Like,
I know exactly
Allen,
what you mean.
As opposed to, he's cool for a dad. You know what I mean? But he's not Prince Devitt cool, like when he became Real Rock and Roll.
Prince Devitt is so fucking cool. Well, Oliver, I say that we call this one, Oliver, you're going to stick around for Paige Show. I say that we continue. I say we continue this discussion on Paige Show, because there's a lot that we could really get into.
Let me knock it out. If you see me, I'm walking through. I just got a text to see if we had got tater tots, because the old lady is making sloppy joes. So we are a sloppy Joe house. So.
I'm going to go ahead and do the wrap up here. Thank you everyone for hanging out with us here and listening to this review of this episode of Nitro. Listen, you've only got like 3 weeks left until WCW stuff leaves Peacock. Listen, seek this episode. Go watch this episode. This episode of Nitro is so fucking good. It's a 5 out of 5 every time. That face tells me that Oliver Cain does not have tater tots.
No, we do, but there's not a lot. So.
Oh, okay. So, Oliver, why don't you go ahead and give some social media plugs here? Where can everyone find you?
I'm Hybrid Cain on Instagram. That's where I mostly post anything. Facebook, Oliver William Cain, but I've kind of cleared people out from that just because it's more family stuff. But yeah, Hybrid Cain on Instagram. MadBash Studios, I'm on there a lot. I'm your old Uncle Oliver with
Uncle Oliver. Yep.
Sports dad now. So
yeah, Oliver Cain has helped me get through some very rough times in my life lately. So you can of course find me on Instagram at DWobs with a Z card shop. The big plugski, MadBashStudios.com, Patreon.com/MadBash Studios.
But go.
You can head there and you can find. Was that the weekend?
So no, it's Billy Joel. It's Joel.
Billy Joel. You guys got to see House Show for what me and him are talking about whenever the video goes live on Patreon. For those of you on the Patreon, we're going to be rolling into Paige Show. For those of you that aren't, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you down the road on some form of content.